Hello Knights and those soon-to-be Knights. You can become an official Carbon Knight by clicking the subscribe button. It's Poseidon H2O here, and I wanted to give you a few tips on a little game that you might have heard of called Stardew Valley. These tips will cover inventory management, best practices, and time saving. Keep in mind for the time saving tips that they will save you time over the long run, but for a single action you probably won't notice much of a change. Every little bit adds up in a long game with a lot of repetition like Stardew Valley. Tip number the first. Check that calendar and bulletin board. Check the calendar often. It tells you about events and birthdays. Events can get you great prizes, and you don't want to miss anyone's birthday. That's their special day. You have no right to ruin it for them. That, and it's the easiest day to buy their friendship with pretty presents. Since you're there, you might as well check out the bulletin board too. It's where you get quests that will also make you make friends quickly. And you don't want to be the only farmer in the valley and be the only person without a bestie. People will judge you. You can also purchase a calendar from Robin at the carpentry shop for only $2,000. Robin likes to price gouge, but at least you won't have to go into town to see if it's anyone's birthday anymore. This can be a time saver since you can just pick up their gift from your farm and then chase them down bounty hunter style to give it to them instead of going to town first. Tip number 2. Dig those roots. Those little squiggly guys right there are roots. I thought they looked like the tentacles of Cthulhu coming out of the ground to capture and devour my little farmer whole, so I avoided them for much of my first playthrough. However, those with a brain will bring their hoe with them and dig them up and get all kinds of cool stuff, from books and artifacts for the museum to ores, seeds, and wild tubers. Tip number 3. Tap that tree, baby! Tapping trees is easy. You need 40 wood and 2 copper bars, and you should really think about starting to tap trees early on in the game as well. It takes anywhere from 4 to 8 days for the different trees to produce, and they get you some really useful stuff that you'll want to stockpile. The maple syrup that you can see in the video sells for 200 gold apiece, and it is used to make bee houses and maple bars. In Canada, we call maple bars long johns. I don't know why. The oak resin should be kept because it is needed to make kegs and deluxe speed grow fertilizer. The pine tar is slightly less useful unless you plan on using rain totems to control the weather like an evil genius. Then you're going to want to stockpile a lot of it. Tip number the 4th. Winter is coming. Cut that grass. Some of you might not know this, but hay starts its life out as grass. Do you know what grass does in the winter? Nothing. It lies there, under the snow, trying not to die. Grass has a hard life, and you should be nice to it. Anyway, since there's no farm machinery in Stardew Valley because the mayor banned it years ago after another farmer went face first into a threshing machine, we have to be the farm equipment. Lucky for us, we don't have to mow, dry, turn, dry some more, rake, bale, and mow our hay like farmers do in real life. All we have to do is cut the grass, and it magically ends up in the silo so it can be used to feed animals all winter long. So, make sure you cut your grass on the 28th of fall to get as much hay as you can for the winter. Tip number 5. Feed the animals before getting their produce. This will help you out with inventory management. If you pick the hay first and feed the animals, you only use one inventory slot temporarily. If you pick up the produce, the eggs, milk, wool, and the like, first, then you might have to run back to where you store it or to the shipping box because your inventory is too full for hay. This might seem silly, but it happened to me all the damn time before I started doing it this way. And make sure you look along the bottom of the chicken coop. Sometimes the small brown eggs are almost impossible to see down there at a quick glance. Numero de point 6. Plant winter seeds. Did you know that you can plant seeds in the winter? Well, now you do. To get those seeds, put a winter root into the seed maker and wait until it's done. Then plant the wild seeds like normal. That includes watering them every day in the cold of winter. What I'm saying is get yourself a good winter jacket, maybe something down-filled, maybe one of those ones with the little heaters in them. Treat yourself. But Poseidon, I hear you saying, what do winter seeds grow? Well, hold on a friggin' second and I'll show you. You get crocus flowers, snow yams, crystal fruit, and winter roots, all of which can be sold. The crystal fruit makes a good priced wine, so maybe save it and toss it in a keg. Oh, and you can forget all that stuff I said about a winter jacket earlier, because... Tip number 7. Sprinkles work in winter? In Stardew Valley, frozen irrigation lines don't exist. I guess in this world, either water doesn't expand when it freezes, or its freezing point is somewhere down around absolute zero. Either way, it makes all this winter farming a lot less pneumonia-y. Tip number 8. You don't have to dismount to ship. Just like the title said, you don't have to dismount to ship your goods. This is one of those tips that won't save you much time per use, but those uses will add up over time, and you can grow old and meet your grandchildren because you won't be playing Stardew Valley 24/7 just to finish it. unless you want to. Tip number 9. Save your fish, clams, and coral for fertilizer. Anything that counts as a fish can not only be turned into sashimi, which a lot of villagers like, but with some sap added to it, you can make a quality fertilizer from it to increase your chances of growing a gold star crop. It's not going to smell good, but it'll get you where you need to go. Coral and oak resin can be used to make deluxe speed grow fertilizer. Clams and pine tar can be used to make regular speed grow fertilizer. So I guess you really don't need clams. Tip number 10. Be a chicken racist. Now, we don't generally favor racism. In fact, this is likely the only case where it's okay. Notice that I only have brown chickens in my coop. Ignore those ducks, they're jerks. This is because picking up small brown eggs and large brown eggs takes up 2 inventory spots. If I had white chickens in here as well, I would have to use 1 to 2 more slots depending on whether or not the eggs were the same size or if both kinds of white eggs were present. This will help you save a lot of trips back and forth from your shipping or storage boxes. Bonus tip! Master your bait. Holding on to your bait when you collect from your fish traps will help you avoid accidentally picking them up, which happens to me a lot. And it will save you some time not having to switch back to the bait in your inventory more than once for all your fish traps. And you can quickly fill the traps right after you take out the fish. Thanks for watching, and keep those shields up, knights. Hey, thanks for sticking around till the end. We appreciate you watching every one of our videos, and if you want to get a hold of us outside of YouTube, all of our social media links are in the description below. If you want to become a knight, why don't you go ahead and click on that subscribe button. And as always, keep those shields up.